need startup funding, and we think that should come from foundations, probably, or something like that, or well-heeled donors of some sort. But we need charity help at this point. But more than that, we need the public's, interest in this thing. Journalism always has. It depended, newspapers depended on, 150,000 Rhode Island families buying the Providence Journal. And so we need that same sort of engagement from the public. At the same time, we also could use their help in performing journalism. So we see ourselves doing two different functions. If we can assemble a crackerjack professional staff of versatile journalists, we would be producing both our own journalism, but we would also be helping to mentor, work with, partner with people who aren't professional journalists but would like to develop journalism skills. So could we find in the library community, especially patrons, a group of people who would like to work with us and be community reporters and report on aspects of their communities and their libraries? Could there be like a reporter for every library that would have all of a sudden this enormous news gathering thing about libraries? So they would go to library board meetings, or they would cover programs at the libraries, or they would talk about new initiatives that their libraries are doing. And again, help, having us at the library report use our experience to help train and guide and give advice to people, and then get feedback from those folks about what kinds of things that we should be covering. One of the things that journalists really need are people to tell them what's going on. People think that somehow that journalists are really smart people. All they have to do is go around to various trash cans and pilfer secret reports, and somehow they're so bright they always know what's going on. Journalists are essentially hollow vessels in which people tell them things, and they learn from other people, and that's how they get their stuff. And this grassroots organization that we would like to see develop in working with concert with the library report would be our eyes and ears, and in some cases our correspondence. We believe in public disclosure about everything. I mean, that's why we're journalists. We don't believe actually in privacy except our own. But we want to be able to demonstrate what transparency means, so that if we do get funded, we want our books to be open. We want people to know who our people are. We want to do to ourselves what we want to do to libraries, which is show every aspect of our thing. We want to be a good citizen. We don't know anything about libraries other than having that single librarian on our board. The way we find out about libraries is by reporting. So every time we do a story, we probably will come back with 4 other story possibilities. And over the period of covering the libraries, we are going to become expert. Democracy absolutely needs information. People get used to throwing newspapers away and taking news broadcasts, take it or leave it, as part of their daily lives. But when you come back to it, as essential as food and education and housing, the lifeblood of democracy is information. And if we succeed, we will have helped our country and our state do what people wanted to do hundreds of years ago, which is have a great democracy. So that's the goal. Finally, I should say too that every single thing that we're doing right now is on a volunteer basis. We don't have any income, and we don't have, so people are doing this on their own time. And right now, because the journal has shrunk so much from a colossus that had 350 reporters and editors and photographers down to maybe a third of that, Well, a lot of those journalists, like myself, Jody McPhillips, Dave Bloss, Gina Macris, who was a longtime reporter who just joined us, and Linda Henderson, the news librarian that I talked about. There's a lot of really high-end journalists around Rhode Island who are actually old journal people. And if we have some life left in us, those of us who are as old as I am, that we're well trained, we did good work for the journal, and we have some of that to offer on a volunteer basis. When we get to the end of this, though, we don't want to be volunteers or have other people be all volunteers. The core staff, we want to be well paid, high salaried, high benefited people who can be proud of their jobs, support their families, and do good work. We don't think we'll be that staff. We think that we'll find other, people who are younger and in early or mid-career stuff to be that paid staff. But we want people to have good jobs and to do a good job.